All right, you guys, so this is the home. We just closed on it today. Let's walk towards the front porch. So here is the front porch of the home, and let's walk inside. I open this door, and the minute you walk in, you're greeted with a front entryway. This is supposed to be the dining room, flex room, sitting room, whatever you want to call it. We're gonna use it as a office/sitting room. So I don't know if you can see it great on camera, but I'm gonna stand on the other side of it, and you can see the entryway and the room. Why is it unfocusing? Here's the room. That's the entryway. So walk out of that room. We're gonna put glass barn doors here. And then here is a nook. Once you walk in, that's the stairway up here. And here is the kitchen. And let me give you a view when you walk in through the door. And let me give you a view of the kitchen from here. There you go. That's the pantry. And this is where like the dining nook would be. And let me show you the pantry, but let me give you a view of the living room. So here is the living room with that fireplace that kind of juts out. And here is the view of the dining. This is a 5-bedroom house, 3 full baths. Here's the pantry. 1 bedroom downstairs, 4 bedrooms upstairs with a loft. 2,500, I think it's like 80 square feet. Here's the bedroom back here. And all of the closets in the rooms, like nothing fancy, looks like this. Not walk-in, just a closet. And here is the downstairs full bath. This is storage under the closet. And this is the garage. It's just a 2-car garage, nothing fancy. And now let's go up the stairs. Okay, going up the stairs. Let me hurry up because Apple isn't letting me. So this is the AC unit. Right off the stairs is the master. It's a good size. Let me go stand in the corner so you can see. Here's the master. Here's the bathroom of the master. It's a shower, tub, double vanity sink. Sorry for my shaking hand. And here is the walk-in closet. It's kind of small. That's the master's walk-in. And when you walk out the master, here's the stairs. It's my husband's body. Here is 1 bedroom. The closet is the same closet like downstairs. Here's the loft. The loft has a closet as well. I don't know if you care about the size of the loft, but here's bedroom number 4. Kind of like you walk in, here's a little nook. Here's the closet of that. Kids bathroom, double sink, linen closet. And here is their bathroom. That's the laundry room. It's like a walk-in space. Completely walk-in. Here is another linen closet right off. It's a lot of closet storage. And here's the last bedroom. I feel like it's a good size. And that closet is just a normal closet. Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I know you guys literally just watched the house tour, but I just wanted to come talk to you guys just for a little bit. Y'all, I have this big insect bite or whatever it is on my forehead, ignore it. But we're gonna move on, all right? So I did want to speak just a little bit about the journey and wanted to give my testimony. Y'all, it has been a journey. A lot of things I told you I shared, and a lot of things I didn't share, and probably things I probably would never share. And also this was very personal to me because it tested my faith like never before, and I wanted to share it. I know when I first moved into my rental, I did share a testimony, and now I have my own home, you guys. All right, I'm not gonna tell you guys the backstory about my life, but just know, short story long, I lived in Miami for 30 years, wanted to buy a home, moved to Atlanta. That didn't happen. Shortly thereafter became self-employed, and then had to wait 2 years to get a home. Reason I moved from Florida was because if you know anything about Florida, home prices are very expensive there, and the type of home and lifestyle I wanted, it wasn't given it to me at the time. The career path I had just didn't match the type of home and lifestyle I wanted. So came here, husband came here as well, whole family. This time we had 1 child. We shortly thereafter, within a year, became self-employed and was told that we needed 2 years of self-employment income. Granted, I had owned a home before, but I didn't want to go through the old home process. I wanted something newer, more updated. It didn't have to be modern, just updated. So when I was told I had to wait 2 more years to buy a home, I was a little taken aback because I didn't know how, if it, like, you know, what self-employment was. So we waited to buy a home, and then came about that time. A lot of people say years pass fast, but to me it was like really slow. We were renting for a total of like 4 years going on renting since we had sold our last home, and the funds that we had from our last home, you guys, was like running dry. Running dry. Okay, so it was about October when I told my husband, I'm like, hey, that 2-year mark is coming in January. We're gonna be eligible to buy a home. So at that time we're like, okay, let's look at our income. This time we're only on 1 income. We're looking at our income, and I can clearly remember this like clear as day. We're having this conversation. I'm like, I'm a planner. The thought comes to my mind, I'm gonna start planning for it. So I'm like, hey, I've been thinking about this all year. It's coming to that time when we have to, you know, start moving the wheel. At this time, you guys, I'm broke. We're living check to check because the type of business we had, it was just a business that, you know, we just started. We only had been 2 years in the business. It was just tough. We were in a tough spot, but immediately I still was thinking about home buying because this was a time we would have had 2 years in the industry that we chose, and it was kind of like a box had been checked. So it was just like green light, but think of green light, but like you're broke, okay? So it was like green light. By this time, when we first started our house journey, we had like 1 child. We were at this time 3 children in. 3 children, living check to check, and I was just like, okay, we're now finally ready to buy a home. So in November, we're driving, and then I remember telling my husband, okay, with all the calculations I've been doing for the past couple of months, it's looking like we'll be able to afford a home. Right now, I was telling him that it was 2022, November 2022. So we're just talking, and he was like, okay, how much do we need saved? We had nothing saved, not even a penny. It had been like some very hard times, you guys. I did all the calculations, went on realtor.com, everything, and it was just like, okay. And I was like, you're gonna need at least 20 grand saved. Of course, I swallowed because what? And immediately I was like, there's no way. There's no way. Like every time we had managed to save something, it disappeared. There was some kind of accident. I know some of you guys know what I'm talking about, an emergency, something. And I was like, there's just no way. And immediately the thought of like, what if God did it? But I shut that down quickly. I was like, there's just no way. We're barely managing to survive. We're living check to check. It's November 2022. There's no way. And I'm driving with him. I was just like, there's no way. There's no way. He's mimicking what I'm thinking. And I'm like, but what if? And he's like, babe, like every month we're like, how are we gonna pay? There's just no way. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. We're just gonna have to think about something else, right? So immediately I made the decision. We're not ready to buy a house, but what we can do is get prepared to buy a house. So I said, okay, come January, we're gonna file our taxes. It will be our 2nd year tax, and then I'm gonna reach out to a realtor. I know from buying my first house, that's one aspect that we didn't do the realtor. The realtor helped us, you know, find like a bank or whatnot. And I'm like, I'm just reaching out to the realtor. realtor to just get a feel of how to get prepared for when we're ready to buy a house. You feel me? All right, January comes. I'm like, boom, January, new year, 2023, baby. And I'm like, okay, I need to find a realtor. I'm in Atlanta. I don't know anybody. Where do I find a realtor? Do I go online, Google, just Google somebody? And I had been in the rental that I was in before for 3 years. They had like a management company, and I was like, you know what? I could ask the management company. Boom, sent the management company's manager a text and was like, hey, do you know a realtor? We're interested in looking for a home in the future. And she's like, yeah, guess what? I'm a realtor. And I'm like, awkward, okay. And she's like, I would love to represent you if you would have me. I'm sitting there like, I mean, I know you, you know me, you've seen me in this rental for 3 years, sure. So she agreed, and I felt instantly more comfortable, and I was like, wow, that is just so awkwardly weird. This lady that I've been going back and forth for like 3 years, say, hey, the AC's down, hey, can you help with this? Hey, it's like a realtor? Well, that was easy. So immediately off rip, like I just felt like the beginning of the house journey was just like simple. And I'm like, oh, okay. And she's like, oh, I'm gonna send you 2 banks, 2 people, whatever. I know, I'm gonna send you a bank, whatever, you know, you can try many banks and things like that just to see. Went back to hubby, we both thought about it. We're like, we really don't need to see a bank person. Like, we're nowhere near ready. Like, we're really trying to pay the next bill. Like, no. And then, you know, I did a little bit of research, and I'm like, I would just love to really know what our finances look like. I would love to really know how much we can afford, just so we can save, you know? We can save and get where we need to go. It's better to know the plan and not know nothing at all. So that was what was in my mind. I'm like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's just see. You never know. It's in my mind, it wasn't seeing to do it. It was just seeing the plan, kind of like you see, okay, this is the map, this is the terrain. All right, you know, I'm gonna go pack my tools. You know what I'm saying? You get it? Okay. So that was me. I was like, sure, let me meet with the bank. It's just gonna be kind of embarrassing, but whatever. So on the other hand, we had a friend that had a bank as well. It was like, you know what? They're gonna pull our credit. They're gonna pull these things. Let's just go ahead and do that with the other bank, because you know, you want to shop around with different like banks. All I wanted was a plan. So we met with the first bank, and then I was just like, I just kept pestering to do it. I was like, hey, how much do we need? How much do we need to make a year in order to afford a house? Not a luxurious house. I just need a house. Like, how much do we need? He kept like going around in circles and was like, oh, I don't know. I would have to see your finances. I would have to see your taxes. And Davidson and I just kept stopping. Look, tell us the plan. Tell us the plan. He's like, no, I wouldn't know. You would have to submit everything. This whole time, I'm not trying to submit nothing, because I know I ain't got nothing. What is there to submit? We get off the phone, I'm like, babe, he ain't telling us a plan. Let's just submit our stuff. We know we don't qualify to buy nothing, not even a pencil. Let's just submit it. Maybe he'll give us a plan after the fact, right? Submit it to him, right? And also at the same time, submit it to the other bank dude. And I'm just sitting, pins and needles. I'm like, you know what? I just need a plan so we know what to do. Because before we couldn't even get in the race. So this whole time, I'm not talking to God, because y'all, I got a plan. This is the plan. There's no reason to talk to God. Like, this is the plan. I already know I've lost before I started. Why am I talking to him? There's no need. This is how my brain operates. That's how I operated as a Christian for a long time. I'm like, there's like, you know, you talk to God when you're in a problem, like not before the problem. Like, what? So I'm like, this is the plan. I got it. I have this under control. The minute we get the plan, we can start working on it. So I submitted to the first dude, and he got back to me before the second dude. The first dude got back to me, and he's like, hey, looking at everything that I'm looking at, like, there's no way. I don't think you can afford to buy a house. You should probably just keep renting. You know, the market is very crazy right now. It's probably best that you just keep renting and just don't even go into a house. So I'm like, okay, would you be able to give us a plan?
No, I just don't think you guys are the right candidate to buy a home.
And then, you know, we got off the phone, and I just felt like it was like very rude. I was like, well, that's rude, just to say you won't even give us a plan or nothing. So he completely just wrote us off, and it kind of made me feel some type of way. But thankfully, within the next day, the other dude came back, was like, hey, this is how much you need to buy a house. It's looking like you can get there. You can do it based off your finances. Here's a pre-approval. The first guy didn't even give me a pre-approval. Second guy gave me a pre-approval. At this point, I'm shook, because I'm like, pre-approved? The first guy just said we didn't have a chance. Get out the race. Pre-approval on what? Like, what bank approved us? Like, I'm confused. And then the rate that he gave us, I think it was like a 5.25 or something like that. And at this time, you guys, the beginning of 2023, the rates were like 7%, 6 something. And so I'm just like, first of all, one, how did you get that rate? You're trying to scam me. And how am I approved for this much? Show me the papers. Show me the papers. So we're pre-approved. My realtor realtor, she gets the information same time as us. She's excited. She's like, we're ready to go. And I'm just like, no, hold up. Wait, no, what? No, this wasn't the plan. What? So she's ready to go. She's already moving. So it's kind of like, you know, when the river's going and you're thrown in and you're just being moved along. That's how we felt. It was like, this is going to stop any second now, because I don't know what these people are talking about. So she's moving. She's looking for homes. And we're like, I guess this is happening. Let's go with the flow. Because at some point it's going to have to stop, because with what money? So it's moving along. So we find this community. We find a couple of communities. She's like sending things to me here and there. I'm going along with the flow. I'm just like, I have nothing better to do. It's fine. She finds a community and she sends me out, and I'm just like, okay, I don't want to live over there, but I guess I'll go. I'm, you know, in my mind, I'm like, I'm broke anyway. Beggars can't be choosers. So I drive over there, and as I'm driving, I see another sign. So I'm just like, oh, that sign is weird. So I pass around. It's another community, just a trailer. So I just walk into a trailer, and the person is telling me about the community, but where the community is positioned, I'm just like, there's no way the price on that billboard matches this community. Like, there's no way. They're lying. Like, there's no way that this specific community in this specific spot with this specific schools, and you know, good schools, I'm like, there's no way it's this price. Like, what? So she's like, okay, this is the price, whatever, of this community. You would just have to meet with my bank. And I'm just like, okay. I hated that part, you know, because I just knew it would be turned down. You know, I was like, oh, the other person is just a unicorn that gave us a pre-approval. Now we're going to like a legit bank. We're definitely going to be turned down. So I was like, you know what, let's just submit it. We already got told, hey, just keep renting anyway. What's the worst that could happen? We submitted the information. The bank that works with the builder got back to us and was just like, hey, you are pre-approved, but on conditions. Off the rip, I'm already like, pre-approved? We got pre-approved by 2 people, and we got pre-approved by the builder's bank. Maybe there's something behind this. And they're like, it's with conditions. We're like, what's with the conditions? The conditions that you will be able to have the escrow amount. At this time, the escrow amount was $5 grand. You need to have the escrow amount in 2 weeks, and you need to have the deposit, the 3.5 deposit, because we're going with FHA loan, and you need to be showing closing money or where it's going to be coming from. Did I not tell ya I was broke? So I'm just like, and I hate to be telling all my business, but you guys, you gotta know where I came from. I had just paid my rent. I had just paid all my utility bills. At this time, we were following a budget thing where it's kind of like empty your account, but allocate all your funds to what you need to allocate and have your credit cards paid off. So we weren't keeping money in our debit cards at the time. So whenever we got paid, we just paid everything and just dropped it on our credit cards, because we knew eventually we wanted our credit to be high and we wanted to buy a house. But nowhere, because no one gave me a plan, did I know I had to just have money sitting there. It's just confusing. So off rip, we're like, you need what in 2 weeks?
You need give me $5 grand.
So I was just like, no way. There's just no way. $5 grand in 2 weeks, that's not happening. I went in a car, called my realtor, and I'm like, hey, this dude said we need $5 grand in our account. She's like, I don't know what you're gonna do, but you're gonna sell your furniture, you're gonna sell your car, you're gonna, whatever you need to do, get it done. Just like that. I kid you not. This lady literally said, you need to get it done. And we got off the phone. And I'm like, it's so crazy that when God wants something to get done, he will literally surround you with people that support his agenda. I didn't know this lady from a can of paint, but she was literally like just speaking to me as if like, no, this is a non-negotiable. It's gonna get done. And it was just so crazy because it was just so easy. The way I found her, the way she was just supporting us. And it was as if like just calling a friend and just saying, hey, this is it. You're going to get it done. This is Root from the future, by the way. I don't know if I ever said that. But to say all that was that I forgot to tell you the reason why we had to go with the Builders Bank was because this community had an incentive. I think they had like a 10 grand incentive, or it may have been a 5 grand. I don't really remember, on their like down payment and stuff. And altogether, the whole process was about 30 grand. But the incentive helped. And then my realtor came in after I told her the news and automatically said, hey, I'm going to put, I think it was like 1% or 2% of the home price to you. Like, I'm going to give it to you. And it was just so crazy because she didn't have to do that. And I know it's a tactic that a realtor could use to like keep a client, but she literally gave us some of her own funds to go towards our closing costs. So right there, it was just like, it was as if God was putting everything in place in order for me to get this home. We're home and we're just like, well, I mean, it is what it is. You come up with 5 grand in 2 weeks, so you don't get to put in for the house. You know, it's simple. So did our passive passing by, days are passing by, and wouldn't you know, the business we are, the beginning half of the year is called our slow season. So it's a season where the job we're doing is just slow. It's not as much jobs or things like that, right? We get a check out of nowhere we didn't see coming that's like quadruple what we would normally get every week. I was shocked. My husband, we were just shocked, and we were just like, what jobs did we, what? It was just out of nowhere. And it was like the first time that I just felt like I saw a monetary miracle, because I was like, there's just no way. Then in a couple of more days, someone at our church just gifted us funds, just said, God told me to just give this to you. And I was just like, I think we can do this. The Friday before we had to have the escrow money, we were paid an additional $2,500. We got the $5,000 and we were well above the $5,000, and we're able to pay our bills with excess. So in the span of 2 weeks, we were able to get the $5,000. Y'all, that alone, if I didn't even get the house, that alone was crazy to me. Because you would think check to check and out of nowhere, when you most need it, you just get the money. I was like, okay, that's weird. So we did that. And then the way D.R. Horton had it is kind of like you had to put in for the house. So we had the money, was able to show the bank that we had the money, and they were like, okay, you're eligible to put in for the house. So they had the list of house, and they were like, okay, this release, you can choose a house. So we'll choose a house, and then within that day, they were like, oh, you didn't get it. There's a long list of people. I'm so sorry. Next week, they're like, we're releasing 3 homes. All right, put for the house. Oh, you didn't get it. Next, at this point, I'm getting frustrated. I'm like, okay, we finally have our $5,000. We just want to put in for a house, put in for a lot. We're 4 weeks in, everything. Oh no, you didn't get the house. So at this point, we're ready to give up. I'm ready to just give up on this community, even though it was the best. Even our realtor was like, this is the best decision place, if you chose this, that you could have ever made for long-term and future goals. But I was just giving up on it. I was like, you know what, we're gonna go look other places. And every time I went somewhere else, it just wasn't it. I just kept coming back to this community, I started praying. I'm like, Lord God, like, we have to be able to put in for a lot, to put in for a home. Finally, we got a call one day, and the realtor for this community was like, hey, someone had a contract on one of these homes. They pulled out. We want to exclusively give this to you. We don't even need you to get on the list. We're just going to give you this home. So they gave us the home. Now they're like, okay, you need the closing funds. We're like, okay, bet. How much is it? $15,000. And we only see you got $5,000, so you need to prove to us that you can come up with $15,000 or you're gonna lose this contract. Immediately, my mind started working on overdrive. I'm like, okay, we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna do this much jobs. And I started planning, literally planning on how this is gonna happen. Battery died, so I started planning. So if anything, if we lose our $5,000, we'll just go next year, because we'll just try again next year. At least we tried. But the plan was not to lose the $5,000. Come up with a plan. I'm like, if we do this and I do that, probably make this happen and do this and that. So I created a plan. The plans are in place. Within the span of a couple of weeks of the plan I created, things just started crumbling down. So all these things were going wrong with every plan I made. And you guys, I'm a great planner. Everything started going wrong, and me and the hubby just came together, and I was like, this has never happened. It's never happened where I've hit a brick wall, that I've come up with a plan and I didn't execute. This is all the mental things I was saying to him. I'm like, this isn't happening, to the point where it was just kind of like hubby was getting so discouraged, and it hurt my heart to just see him get discouraged. And he just, like, I just felt at a point he just gave up. And then it's kind of like I heard a voice. Like, I literally heard a voice out of nowhere. You guys said, you're gonna come up with $20,000 in 1 year. And I remember clear as day that conversation I was having with him, and I'm like, I said God couldn't, like, it wouldn't happen that we wouldn't come up with $20,000 in a year. Is he gonna prove me wrong? I just remembered all the stories, all the testimonies, all the stories in the Bible where people were like, their back were against the wall. No more thoughts came to their head. They felt like they were no longer in control. And when they gave up the will, God took the will. And I was like, are you doing this on purpose? Are you showing me you can come up with this money in under a year? And I immediately, I couldn't explain to you, like, it was just so clear to me. I'm like, I'm gonna come up with the money. We're gonna have this money. I just told him, like, hey, we're gonna have this money. And he's like, what are you talking about? Are you nuts? Like, no, Ruth, they literally just called us and told us that none of the plans are gonna work. Go sit down. And I'm like, no, I'm telling you, we're gonna come up with the money. We don't know how, but it's gonna happen. God is gonna give us the money. And a couple weeks went by. I'm still strong. Like, it's like I know without a shadow of doubt we're gonna have this money, you guys. I don't know what it is. I just felt a peace, and I knew that I was gonna have this money. And I was like, because he's gonna show me how great he is. Even though I put him in a box and I put my life in a box, and I was just like, the only way anything like this great could happen to me, it would have to happen this way. He had to take all that away, strip me bare to show me how great he is and what he can do. And it's out of my control, it's in his. I can't even explain the way he did it. Like, I was just like, what? So all this is going on, you know, time is ticking, and hubby's, we don't have any ideas. We just gave up. We just gave up. And it just happened. Like, he just gave us like, in the middle of the driest season of our industry, we just started getting paid enough to pay our bills and put money away. He just brought people into our lives that was able to help us. When I got to closing day, I was in surreal shock that I did not plan to buy no house in 2023. I got to that day, I was able to pay for my movers, I was able to pay all my bills, I was able to pay all my credit cards. We just had fun. And all I need to know that God got us, and he's standing with me and he's walking with me through this. All I gotta do is let go. And you guys, I literally let go. This home that we in, again, is just something physical, because when I'm not on this earth anymore, it too shall pass away. But the point is that it has showed me that sometimes you need to let go and let God. Just let go. Stop being in control of everything. Stop trying to be in front. Put him in front. Let him lead, because when you let him lead, miraculous things happening. I'm so forever grateful for him teaching me that lesson, teaching me not to put him in a box and not to speak things like that over my life and say, wow, this is this, that could never be me, or wow, I don't think, you know, kudos to this person, but that could never be me, because I don't know how much grace, you know, I have over my life. Only he knows how much, like, he's put into each and every one of our lives. So I just wanted to share that testimony, you guys. I know it was a lot, but I just felt like it needed to be said, that it was just a pivotal moment in my life when I let God do what God does, and I just didn't stand in his way. So really hope that I encourage somebody out there. If you're going through something, just know that he's right there with you. He's walking through it with you, and to let go and let God always, because he knows exactly what's in your heart, and he knows exactly what will come to pass, and he will never leave you. And to that man that told us that we were not gonna get a house and to keep renting, look what my God did. Period. So with that, you guys, thank you so much for watching this house tour and listening to my testimony. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.